Hi, this is Jeff Hacker, and I'm here with my esteemed work associate, Aaron Willems.
Welcome to the presentation.
We're going to show you a couple of tips we have today concerning tech engagement in the science classroom. One thing Mr. Willems and I have been working on is using an extension to Google Slides called Pear Deck. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pear Deck or not, but I'll show you a couple of ways that Mr. Willems and I have incorporated that into our chemistry classrooms. I'm going to start, just make a real basic one. So I'm going to start here. I'm just in the Google Slides. I'm going to start with just a blank presentation, and you can do whatever you want here. Let's say I want to open this extension called Pear Deck. So I've already downloaded this, and so it's found here under the extensions, and you'll see, notice right here it says Pear Deck for Google Slides. I'm going to open that add-on. And where do you download that? Is it just in the...
You can download that at the add-on center for Google Classroom. Anywhere you go to find add-ons to help with your Google things, you can find Pear Deck.
Okay, so anyway, here's the little extension opens here. We're not going to start the lesson. We're going to start a lesson over here. And so if you look, it has some pre-made little things where you can ask certain questions where they're text, whatever, draw, draggable things. You'll notice some of these have a little star by them that are premium features with paid subscriptions. Mr. Willems, that's Aaron Willems, A-A-R-O-N, he found kind of a workaround. So instead of using, those slides, some of them that are prepaid, you can actually find some of that same functionality in the templates using, like an exit ticket and deleting some of the things and using it, how you want to. So I'm going to make a real quick lesson here. We'll do like nomenclature. That's an easy one to do. So I'm going to go here and let's just say I'm going to insert an image, and let's go here and this image with just a picture for nomenclature. And like I said, you can do whatever you want here, make it as fancy as you want. I'm just doing this real quick so we can get going. So there's our little title slide, nomenclature. Okay, so we're going to add a slide. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here to the template library. And you notice it says like beginning, during, at the end of the lesson. I think the ones we use usually were kind of here at the end of the lesson. And so it tells you what kind of slide it is, like a drawing slide or like text where you can type things. It has some of the ones where you can drag, it left or right, however it makes you feel. So here, let's go to this one because this one's easy to manipulate. This one where how you're feeling, and you click the little smiley face. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete those faces. And we're going to come in here and we're going to change the text box. So instead of saying circle how you're feeling, let's say I want to do this. Let's say I want to give a question. Let's say we want it to get a formula for magnesium nitrate. Okay, and I got to go back and delete this blank one, I guess. And then that looks good. Let's add another slide in. Sometimes, it's easiest just to come in here and just duplicate that slide. So you have the same format, and you can just go in here and change. So instead of writing the formula for magnesium nitrate, let's write the name for, we'll do copper and sulfur, all right, CuS. And then basically all you have to do, and largely, here's another little tip. What I like to generally do is I will keep one as kind of a master, and I'm going to go in here and I'll do like file, and I'm going to make a copy. And so I'm going to say for the entire presentation, I make one for each block. And so let's say I'm going to do a fall workshop. Fall workshop. And so I'm going to make a copy of this. Okay, so now here's my copy of this fall nomenclature one. Let's try to work through this, and I'm going to act as the instructor. Mr. Willems is going to act as the student. And so what I need to do to activate this slide for my students, I'm going to go into Extensions, back to Pear Deck, open Pear Deck. And up here we're going to click the Start Lesson instead. you're going to notice there's a couple of options. There's student pace, where they kind of go on their own thing. Generally, I do this as an instructor paced activity. That way, I'm the one that's advancing the slides. You can use it as a student pace to have them do some review and things, but we're going to do this as an instructor paced activity. So I'll go ahead and click that, and it's going to give us, I got to log in here. Let's go to my work one, huh? Okay, and so it's going to give you a 6-letter code that the students, so they'll go to www.joinpd.com, P as in Paul, D as in David. And so Mr. Williams is going to type in the following code, KHPRIK, keen highlighters, perfectly raised, insincere kangaroos. Okay, notice we have one student connected, so we're ready to go, because this is the only student on here. You won't be able to get on because this isn't live, sorry. So here we go, we're going to start the class. And so here it's giving you the title screen, great. Notice it does still put this up here in the corner, so if you have students that get disconnected or having trouble getting on, they can get on later on. Okay, and then you have to advance manually through the slides. So we're going to go to this first slide, and this is what Mr. Williams is going to see. He's going to see writing a formula for magnesium nitrate. He's got a little different pens and things, so you can type it. You can also maybe draw it with your fingers so they can see that as well. You're not going to see it live, but I can show you after. One thing I do like to do is I like to sometimes go in here to the lock screen, and I'll give them like a timer, so like a 30-second timer, so they can see this counting down. They know how much time they have in order to answer the question. You will notice that he has responded 1 of 1, and so I'm going to go ahead and I don't know if I can stop that or not, but generally what I like to do at this point, I will, on my screen that's posted in the room, I'll go ahead and freeze that so I can click on the show responses. That way I can see them and it's not going to display them to everybody in the room. Another reason why I like this is because there is some level of anonymity. Okay, it's going to project their answers up on the screen so you can see them, but it's not going to identify the students to the other students in the room. That way, hopefully, it diminishes any hesitation they would have with sharing their answers, not wanting to look dumb in front of their peers. But anyway, I digress. So we go here to show responses, and it'll actually allow you to scroll down through all the ones. And there, Mr. Williams, gold star for you. Look at you, magnesium nitrate. And he didn't even know what I was doing, so nice work on your nomenclature. And that way you can go through, and it gives you kind of a feeling what your students know and what they don't know, because you can kind of see as they're working on them, how many of them are kind of getting the concept, what's the common errors they're making, things like that. We'll do one more quick one, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So let's go to the next question. Write the name for CUS. So there you go, Mr. Willems, and let's put the timer on. So I'm going to put the lock screen 30 seconds. There it's doing the old countdown. You can show them the writing as well or whatever. I do encourage you, though, to look at them before you put them up on the screen, because sometimes students think they're funny and they will draw inappropriate pictures or write inappropriate things, and that way you can address them before. If you do have the paid subscription, it will give you a report of which student, when they were logged in, typed what, drew what, and it does save it as a nice little PDF that you can attach and send to administrators or to home or wherever you would like. That is a paid feature, though, and I know that gives you a trial. I don't remember. Do you remember how long the trial was?
The trial's very short.
Yeah, so it might be 30 days or something maybe, but yeah, that comes with paid subscription. So let's go ahead and look at this last part here. I'm going to go ahead and we'll just show the response. Oh, yes, it is copper 2 sulfite. Nice work using the Roman numerals. Notice copper has a charge of 2 in this instance because it bonds with 1 sulfur. Nice job. And he drew kind of an angry face, it looks like. And that's something that, is fine. But
do the angry face because I'm upset that that's all the practice I get. I often find this is also very helpful because when students have incorrect answers, it gives me an opportunity to correct misconceptions. And I think that's one of the best features of the live interactive version of Pear Deck, where you get to see student responses in real time. So as opposed to having to march around the room and have a conversation with individual students, every student gets to see the misconception. Every student gets to understand why it's a misconception. Every student gets the instruction versus just one, which is why I really enjoy using Pear Deck.
Thank you, Mr. Willems.